Welcome to The Kingstonian, a podcast that profiles individuals who are passionate about what they do for a living, about what organization they belong to, or simply passionate about the community they are a part of. Hello there, and welcome. My name is Dave Cunningham. During this pandemic, many in our community have found a way to give back. One such group is LIONHEARTS. They have stepped up to provide a decent, healthy meal for the marginalized in our city. Our guest today is the group's founder and executive director, Travis Blackmore. Travis, welcome to the program.
Hey, Dave, thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Now, the whole business behind LIONHEARTS has changed quite dramatically in the past month or so. But let's go back to the beginning, and where did this idea come from to start this organization?
Yeah, for sure. It all started with just myself and a small group of friends. We were looking to make a difference in the community and weren't sure what to do. And one of our friends actually gave us an idea he had an inroad with Costco Kingston, and we ended up striking up a partnership with them. As long as we were willing to pick up 7 days a week, every morning, they would put aside the what they were going to throw away for a million different reasons. It could be because packaging got damaged in transit, or, I mean, honestly, there's a bunch of different reasons. But we had to be willing to pick up 7 days a week, take and sort what wasn't consumable, and then we could, give out to marginalized folks whatever was left.
What was your first pickup?
The first pickup, oh my gosh, I'll never forget the first day. It was over 800 pounds of strawberries. Our food program manager, he's actually our operations manager for Kingston, he was there that day, and we just kind of looked at each other. We were all excited, and at the same time we're like, what did we just get into? Pretty wild.
Now, does Costco just give you fruit and vegetables or other stuff as well?
Any food product.
Okay.
So if there's, it could be to be honest, it's a lot of produce. Mm-hmm. We could get things like, one time we had a full skid of pasta sauce where the label had been printed wrong. It just had a different amount inside the jar, but because it's not the proper amount, that can't make the floor and can't go out the door. So they gave that to us. It was honestly, organic pasta sauce. What does Costco sell that isn't good, right? But, to us, that was like gold. And
gift from heaven. Yeah.
We started to take this stuff and we would offer it to places in Kingston, like Martha's Table, St. Vinny's, St. George's, Salvation Army. And we would just start delivering every week because we're picking up every morning. We would pick up this produce, sort it, and then make deliveries to, at this point, more than 30 agencies across the city. And in the past 5 years, we've grown to include Cobb's Bread, Starbucks, Little Caesars, Montana's, oh my goodness, a plethora of places that are donating mass amounts of food. And in 2019, we were able to gather and distribute over $2.3 million worth of food across the Kingston area.
I think you're the only other person whom I've heard use the word plethora.
Yeah, it's a weird word.
I know. Now, when it comes to picking up the food from Costco or Cobb's or Montana's or wherever, do you have to store it, or have you been getting it out to the people who need it right away the same day?
We have very quick turnaround. In fact, It's our goal to have it out the door as fast as possible. No longer than, I believe our thing is usually about 8 to 12 hours max. And just an interesting side point, anything that is not consumable, let's say there's some withered grapes or whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. We actually put that aside, and we have pig farmers that come and take all of the discarded food. So it still isn't going to waste. It's still being...
I read that somewhere too, yeah.
Yeah, so we're entirely a green charity besides, we can recycle all the plastic and cardboard and what have you. So it was kind of a neat side note about Lionhearts. Even the nightclubs in town, believe it or not, this is interesting. Even the nightclubs in town have coat checks, and there's a number of coats that get left behind a coat check. They'll hold them for 3 weeks, and then after so long and no one comes to claim them, then they'll donate those coats to us. And those coats, honestly, maybe you wouldn't be shocked, but there's hundreds and hundreds of coats every winter season that get donated to us. I'd say thousands, but I know it's at least hundreds for sure. So hats off to the nightclubs for jumping in and making sure this stuff doesn't go in the garbage, right?
Now, you mentioned nightclubs, so let's talk about one in particular. And this is a club that became an extra component to what you guys are doing. And that's a relationship that you have developed with St. George's Cathedral. Tell us about that.
That's right. So it almost seems like a former life for me. I was a professional touring drummer for years. I had a career as a hired gun and traveled around the world playing drums. And when I came off the road, and this whole charity thing kicked off, I mean, my love for music didn't change. In fact, I'd already known a number of musicians in the Kingston community, and a number of them were helping volunteer with the food project and clothing, et cetera. And I just had this idea from delivering food to Lunch by George. It just was this gorgeous room in there. And I put together an idea, and I took it to our board and ultimately took it to the deacons and the priest over there at St. George's. And I said, what if we opened a pop-up cafe on Saturday nights? It's this gorgeous room you have here. We could bring in sound and some lighting. And what we would do is we would give free entry tickets to some of the places we support with food so that they could give it to their clients and folks that they're helping, and offer them a free evening of music and sort of maybe lift their spirits a little bit. Music is a therapy, right? You listen to it when you're happy or sad, mad, whatever you want to work out. And this would maybe help our food project, but also help offer something different in the community on Saturdays. And that kicked off, 4 years ago now.
It's a perfect location, too, in terms of the church, where it is in town.
Yeah, it really is. And the interesting way about the way the entry sort of works is we'll give these free entry tickets to places like the Kingston Street Mission. And the ticket says admit one, has a $5 value. And when you present that ticket upon entry, it looks like you've pre-purchased. So they allow you to enter right away. And you take the ticket inside to the food counter and you redeem that for something to eat, something to drink. It is a dry music cafe, so we have a lot of support from AA and NA. And it really is a place for people to come in, sit in a beautiful environment. I mean, when you're in there, it sort of feels like Hogwarts, like from Harry Potter. It's this gorgeous castle of a room. And really, really tough to duplicate that sort of atmosphere anymore. And we serve Cook's Fine Foods coffee, and anyone from the community is more than welcome. In fact, we sort of base our success, if you want to call it that. We hope that there's about 50-50 on an evening. Maybe there's 50% free tickets and 50% of people came in and thought it was valuable enough to pay to come in and listen to the artist. And that way we see the marginalized sort of elevated and integrate with people that they normally wouldn't, if you know where I'm going with that. You could never take 50 people off the street and sort of take them to fill in the name of the establishment and say, hey, here's some free food, just sit down and enjoy the music. And that's where our charity element kind of kicks in, to sort of give them that sometimes all you need is a new friend and a new circle of people to pull you out of whatever's hard spot.
Wherever you're in, yeah. I think it's been a long time since we've had a dry cafe in town.
I'm pretty sure, at least my last check, I think we're the only one. Now, it is only on Saturday nights, which is different, and it is an early evening. Doors open at 8 o'clock. Music starts at 8:30, and it's done at 10:30. Maybe that's a byproduct of my past life where, you're used to being in the band and you don't start till 11 and you play till 3. but and maybe I'm just getting old, and I just, early is better for me. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I think a lot of our customers enjoy that as well. And if you're a university and you're a big country classic rock fan, this is the venue. You can use it as a kickoff to your night. 10:30, then you can zip over to, honestly, any of the other live music spots within a block. You got the Blue Martini and the Merchant and the Toucan, and gosh, so many awesome venues in Kingston, right? And we're just honored to get to be a part of that music community and be a part of that legacy in Kingston. Gosh, Kingston's got to be the mecca of music in
There's
Canada.
a lot of great musicians in town. The line I heard from an older musician was, with the gig finishing early, then I can get home in time to watch the late news.
Here, I love it.
Now, in connection with that, you came up with a fundraising idea to put together a compilation album. Tell us about that.
Yeah, for sure. So part of our budget is to make sure that we offer the musicians a gratuity for playing. You could line up musicians every night of the week and they would all tell you that they've been asked by charities. They could play every night for a different charity, and they're just never going to make money doing that in order to feed themselves. So we make sure that we offer them a thank you for playing. And on top of that, one of them approached us to say, listen, you guys do just some phenomenal stuff. And I think you'd be surprised at putting together a compilation album and maybe using that as a fundraiser and an awareness campaign just for the embassy. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. His suggestion was to put a call out to the musicians that we have play there and see if they would donate a song that they'd written or recorded to that album. Therefore, you're not waiting for someone to write something or having to go into the studio. It's pre-recorded. I thought that was a fantastic idea, and I was really overwhelmed by the kindness and generosity of the local musicians, just how quickly they said yes, just wanting to be a part of what we were doing. We put together that compilation album, and it's out there now. It's on all streaming platforms. When stores do open again, you can pick it up on the West End at Limestone Music and also at Brian's Records downtown, right on Princess Street there.
Now, we are going to move ahead a little bit and talk about the changes that have been wrought on the organization with the debut of COVID-19. Now, what's changed for you since?
Well, with COVID-19 and LIONHEARTS, what's changed dramatically is pre-COVID-19, LIONHEARTS is basically sort of a charity in the food department, the charity version of Findlay or Cisco. We pick up mass amounts of food, and then we distribute those to frontline agencies that are already feeding people. So that gave us a unique perspective on the city. When this outbreak happened, we noticed that a number of them either pulled back on some of their services slightly, and that could be for honestly many different reasons. Or to give you an example, the Morning Star Mission in Napanee, all of their cooks are of vulnerable age, and they were in a position where they would have had to close entirely because of this pandemic. LIONHEARTS had been piloting a to-go meals program since the fall of last year, and we really didn't want to see some of spaces like Morningstar have to close. But what we did is we approached the city and we approached St. Vinny's, a few of our partners, and we noticed there was a gap in service. There wasn't anyone serving meals to go for the vulnerable or marginalized during the dinner hour, in that supper period. And we brought forth this idea of our Meals to Go program, and they loved it. And they said, you really should do that. So we began consulting with the city of Kingston and public health and a few of our partners, and we settled on McBurney Park. And we began serving Meals to Go in the park on March the 18th. And the very first night, there was 37 meals to go that were taken. Now, within a week and a half, we watched that number rise to over 200 a night. We had a local chef come in and volunteer his time, just a wonderful guy, Will Arnaud, who used to be with Bayview Farm and is now with the Otter Creek Farm food truck. And he volunteered his services to come in and help us develop our Meals to Go program and really help us scale up the amount of meals that were showing up. When we approached the 250 mark every night, he came to us and said, listen, I need to put a call out to get more chefs in to accommodate what's happening here. We could tell that things were advancing every night. That also brought us to a point where we needed to look at opening a second venue in the Kingston area. So we looked at partnering with Kingston Community Health Services up on Weller Avenue, and we opened that location on April the 6th. Our second location, serving to-go meal packages every night, 7 days a week. Will's call out to his chef community resulted in over 6 chefs volunteering their time to cook these meals. We began delivering these Meals to Go packages to the Morning Star Mission in Napanee every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There's over 130 meals going out to Napanee alone. And the Morning Star Mission is delivering those meals, seeing as they can't cook anymore. So we've watched the Morning Star Mission be resurrected and be effective in their community and continuing to serve their client base and take care of that. Now, you've got 6 chefs cooking meals, and the last number I think we were at was around 250 meals a night. With 6 chefs on board, we're now doing over 700 meals every night, and that's through McBurney Park, 7 nights, Weller Avenue, 7 nights, and we just opened a new partnership in Amherstview with the Amherstview Community Hall in partnership with the Loyalist Township. And that is every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can now get Meals to Go in Amherstview. So once again, just to recap, that's Lionhearts going through 4 different outlets for these meals. There's over 700 meals a night to this date. And we've served 700 meals a night, 17,000 meals since we opened on March the 18th.
Now, these are good quality meals as well.
Phenomenal. You know, these chefs, first of all, it's really touching the size of their hearts and their willingness to come forward and do this. I mean, it's no small task to cook for 700 people every night on a consistent basis and prepare these in to-go packages that are microwave safe and freezer safe. And these are not just a meal. We call them to-go meal packages. Mm-hmm. If you visit our Facebook page or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, you'll see that people receive a bag. And in that bag is that meal package. But there'll also be a loaf of bread in there from Cobb's Bread. There'll be cookies in there. There'll be some sort of, it could be cookies, it could be a different sweet, but it is a full package, some water, could be some oatmeal for the morning. It really is a package. It's not just a one and done type thing. We hope that it keeps people replenished through the next number of hours, not just at dinner. Do you know what I mean?
Where do you do the prep for all these meals?
So a lot of it is done at Kingston Community Health Center. That's where the bulk of all of the food is prepared. Now, the meal packages can be put together at KCHC. They could also be put together from a gym that's been donated to us by Kingston Gospel Temple on Princess Street, right by Freshco. And they have a rather large gymnasium there, and it's a great staging point for us. In fact, that's where we sort a lot of our produce or food that kind of comes in from some of our partner agencies. We'll sort and distro out from that location. It's a rather large project. We have about 150 volunteers working in very small, socially distanced partners, so that if you're not sacrificing your whole project, if one person becomes sick, you can sort of rotate a different group of crew in there.
How big is the big whiteboard in your office?
Ridiculous. I mean, to be 100% honest, really it all falls, the biggest bulk of this falls on the shoulders of our operations manager that runs that project, Sean Sargent, and his different lieutenants that he has in place taking care of things, whether it's because, it's not like our project pre-COVID-19 is finished. We're still picking up from partner agencies that are still open, as well as acquiring new partner agencies that are donating food. It seems almost like a day-to-day basis. There's a new one coming on board. And then we're still supporting St. Vinny's and Lunch by George and Martha's and Salvation Army and Partners in Mission Food Bank and on and on and on. It's important to us that we don't let that initial part of our project fall. Mm-hmm. This new sort of COVID-19 street project has really kind of exploded bigger than any of us could have imagined.
Now, we're running out of time on the program, and I don't want to finish up the show without talking about a current fundraiser that involves getting some matching money. So can you quickly give us the rundown on that?
Absolutely. So there's this global thing called Giving Tuesday, which a lot of viewers will have heard about. It normally happens in December with the outbreak of COVID-19. That same worldwide conglomeration has decided to do a new campaign called Giving Tuesday Now, which begins on May the 4th. And it's specifically for any charities that are doing COVID-19 work or need to be highlighted in your community. We chose to take this time to launch what we're calling our Double Your Impact campaign. We had two major grants given to us by the United Way, KFL&A, and the Robert W. Clark Estate. And basically anything that's donated between Tuesday the 4th and Tuesday the 12th will be matched up to $50,000. So we're trying to raise $50,000, which will then be matched by that other $50,000, giving us $100,000 into our project, which is so desperately needed to maintain that 700 meals a night and growing, to be honest.
Now, for folks who want to donate, all they need to do is go to their favorite social media platform and look for the donate button. But even more importantly, and whether you are donating or you can afford to donate and you have a list of friends on those social media platforms, please invite them to participate in the campaign so that you can spread the word as widely as possible. Theme music for the program is Stasis Oasis, a tune written and performed by Kingston musician Tim Aylesworth. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about any of our episodes, please send a note to the Kingstonian Podcast Facebook page. This is Dave Cunningham from Kingston, Ontario. Thank you for listening. Until next time.